Number one, Auburn went into Fayetteville and took themselves a loss in overtime tonight. We're going to be joined by Arkansas head coach Eric Musselman here in just a minute. But before we get to that, Sean, I'm going to hit you first on this one, man. What was your biggest takeaway from Arkansas's win?
Not to take anything away from Arkansas, when you're the number one team in America and you think about some of the recent games Auburn has played, Rob, and it seems like they've almost played them in a row, as evidenced by how Georgia took them to the wire most recently. It can beat you down. To me, they just look physically just almost like they need to take a deep breath. Maybe this loss can kind of take a little bit of the pressure off and can kind of get back to some things maybe that they were doing better earlier. In particular, I didn't think Auburn tonight was as good as they've been sharing the ball, moving it, making the one more pass. And there were just so many possessions there towards the end of the game that ended up doing them in, not because Arkansas isn't an outstanding defensive team, but it almost, hey, look, when you play against a team that is like that defensively, you really better be on it and moving the ball. And tonight, I didn't think they were at their best.
Yeah, Arch, how much of that was a result of what Arkansas was doing defensively, and how much of that was just, Wendell Green sometimes becomes a little bit shot happy?
Well, you have to give Arkansas's defense a lot of credit. One of the reasons that they've caught fire and have won 9 in a row, I believe, their defense has really turned the corner and started to become one of the best in the country. And, really, to be honest with you, probably right now, maybe the best in SEC play. And they took Alabama out of a lot of their stuff. There was a lot of pressure out there, and resulted in, Auburn playing with 8 assists, 19 turnovers. And, Wendell Green has to play 38 minutes without Jasper tonight, and he has 7 turnovers as a point guard on the road in that environment. And multiple guys, though, for Auburn turned the ball over. 8 assists, 19 turnovers on the road in that environment. But I think you have to give Arkansas a lot of credit, because their winning streak and what they're doing really starts right now. The mindset defensively to, take you out of what you're doing, and the quickness on the floor. And they've done a great job.
Right.
And, back to my point, and really I should have started with it, missing their point guard, Auburn. I mean, you felt that a little bit too. If you think about kind of what we talked about, the ball got stuck, it didn't move. And at times I thought that they didn't get the ball to Jabari when they usually do. You start taking that head of the snake away from your team, the guy that you count on to do it, who has a big role in that area of playmaking. It can certainly affect that. But, that and Kessler, by the way, if Auburn would have won, what a great game. I mean, his free throw shooting hurt Auburn. He went to the line, and I think missed 4 in a row. But if you look at his blocks, rebounds, and points in that game, it shows you how talented.
16, 19, and 7 blocks.
Yeah, it shows you how talented he is. He is a difference maker. And I think that's one reason why we're looking at Auburn as the number one team in the country, because they have so much athleticism and so many things already going for them. To put that 7-foot shot blocker in the middle, Rob, now that takes them to a completely another level.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was you guys that was talking about this. I think it might have been you, Arch, but Walker Kessler at some point has to get some buzz for the for National Player of the Year, or for National Defensive Player of the Year. But
definitely,
I think we're about to be joined here by Eric Musselman, but go ahead and finish your point on
definitely National Defensive Player of the Year, SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Auburn's defense is based around him, his shot blocking in conference play, and their team's ability to force things to him. But what he's done defensively for Auburn, and him individually, how he dictates things in games, to me, he has to be a guy that's considered, if not the National Defensive Player of the Year, one of them, and definitely in the SEC, he's got to get that nod, I would think, as of today.
Yeah, so we're going to be joined here in a minute by Eric Musselman, the Arkansas head coach. They are coming off of an 80-76 win in Fayetteville over number one Auburn, and they're improved to 19-5 on the season. A huge win for the Razorbacks. I believe that is now 8 consecutive wins for them. They've really kind of been able to turn this thing around.
And I think, we are